This is Parashat Naso. Usually Parashat Naso we learn after Matan Torah, and it's the longest parasha in Torah, and this comes longest parasha because after Matan Torah we are full of Torah and mitzvot, and the midrash is the longest midrash and talks about a lot of various things in the parasha. One of the nekudah that parasha talks about, the parasha that's very famous, Parashat Sotah. Parashat Sotah is the parasha of a lady that goes astray, and she does something, betrayed her husband, and she goes with another man. Now, Torah says that if something like that happened, then the husband doesn't know whether that happened or not. It's the lack of Shalom. Bayit, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says that you could write my name and dissolve it in water and let her drink, and you're going to see if really she didn't become Tameh when Israel Zora. She would have children. If she'd have a child, she would have children. She would have Ben Zachar. She's going to have Ben Zachar, boy, and would be a source of beracha. And if in the case that she became Tameh, then Torah says that her thigh would swallow, and her bitten, her thigh would fall down, and her stomach would swell, and she would die in a very tragic way. Now the question is very interesting. Always Torah tells us when Torah puts two parashas together, there is a reason for it. Now, what's the parasha connected to parasha of Sotah? Torah says that talks about Terumah, that you have to give Terumah to Kohanim. That's the parasha of whatever that you give for Kohen, it's for Kohen. Now Rashi tells us what's the connection between giving Terumah and Sotah. If Torah puts two parashas together, now the writer of the Torah is HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Sometimes the writer is limited how to put things together. But HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't have limitation. Therefore, every two parashas that he puts together, he wants to teach us something. Now the point is, Rashi said, what does Torah want to teach us that he puts the parasha of Terumah, giving Terumah, next to parasha of Sotah? Now Rashi says, Rashi says, what's written lemala? No, Terumah. Now, what's the connection? Rashi says, what's the connection? Because Rashi says, if you hold back the gift of the Kohen, I promise you, Torah says, I promise you, I promise you that if you don't bring the matana to Kohen, you're going to come to Kohen. How do you come to Kohen? You have to come to Kohen. I make you to come to Kohen. How? You have to bring your wife as a sotah to Kohen. Very interesting. Sounds magic. I was telling you, you don't bring Terumah, you don't come to Kohen. I make magically that you're going to bring your wife to Kohen. What's the connection? What's the pshat? Why does it make sense? It's a measure by measure. No, all of the things of Torah is measure by measure. Now, what's a measure by measure that you don't bring Terumah, now you're going to bring your wife? Now, always we have to be very exact with the word of Chassidut. If you notice, Rashi says, we have me'akev and we have somebody that doesn't give. Chassidut don't say somebody who doesn't give. It says me'akev, he holds back. But it says he holds back the gift of the Kohen. Should have said doesn't give. It says holds back the gift of the Kohen. What does hold back mean? But always I remember like this. Imagine some people are playing basketball and the ball goes off. Somebody holds the ball and they are screaming to him, give us the ball, we're in the middle of the game. And he plays with it. He plays. He says, they are screaming, give it to me, give it to me. He doesn't give it to them. Finally he gives. In this case, he doesn't want to hold the ball for himself. He doesn't want. If you want to steal the ball, steal it. If you're going to give it to them, why do you wait? You know that they're waiting for you, they're screaming. Why do you play with it? And then you give it to them. It's a question of power struggle. You want to show that you are in charge of them. I'm not able to serve you to give you the ball. You need me, and I'm in charge of the ball. When I want, I give it to you. You hear? It's a big difference. Somebody gets the ball and right away gives it to them. It's giving them a service. Somebody who plays with the ball, he wants to show, you should know I'm in charge of your ball. You need me, I don't need you. And I'm trying to be nice to you, but you should know I'm in charge. I'm in charge of the ball. That's the way. Somebody steals it, is it greedy? He wants money, he wants a ball, he steal. We're not talking about that. We're talking something much deeper. And what's deeper is that he wants to show that I'm in charge, you're not in charge, you need me, I don't need you. Now here, somebody holds back the Matana of Teruma. What does he want to do? He wants to tell the Kohanim, what? You think I'm your service, I'm your Eved, I work so hard and I give it to you. You have to have recognition that you are getting it from me. I'm in charge. I'm giving your life. You are living through me. I'm giving it to you. Somebody holds back against that. What does it mean? That means you say, this person who feels this as an authority. He is the man of authority. Everybody has to bow down to him. He's a struggle power. Wants power all the way. Even to Beit HaMikdash, even authority of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he doesn't accept upon himself. Even that authority, he wants to show that I'm in charge. When it comes to Beit HaMikdash, when it comes to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you have to bend over. You have to say, Hashem, you are in charge. Whatever that I have is from you. But even in such a case, this person is such a person that he has to show that I'm in charge, I'm powerful. Now, what does he do in Islam? How does he deal with his wife and children? If he deals like that to Beit HaMikdash and the authority of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, sure enough, he does to his wife also. It's a matter of struggle. Power. I'm in charge. You're not in charge. And he would put his wife in a corner that his wife cannot move, and he's controlling his wife all the way. She has to be in charge of everything. Now, what happens to a wife like that? Wife that the husband is just thinking about himself, and he has to show his power, authority through the wife. There's no intimate relationship, there's no intimacy, there's nothing. What happens to such a family is very, very fertile. The avira, the environment is very, very apt to a lady to go off. Because the lady, needs attention from the husband. The husband even doesn't accept the authority of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Everything is a matter of my power, my power, I have to show I'm in charge. Then the wife doesn't have any room. And Torah is telling us, what are telling us, if you feel like that, you do like that, we promise you, this attitude is going to hurt your home. It's going to destroy your house. And that's what's going to happen. Now, it's very interesting that the parasha is telling us that the husband is at fault. The Torah is telling us, that's the consequence of what we did. But if you learn the parasha, you see that she becomes punished. She gets a tragic punishment. Not him. He doesn't have anything happens to him. Now the question asks, if Torah in the beginning of the parasha tells us that is his fault, how come Torah is punishing her so badly? He should get punished. That's another lesson. Lesson is that Torah is telling us, yes, lady, we hear you. We understand. You have a problem. What do you do with the problem? You have a problem at home. What do you do with the problem? Whenever you have a problem at home, the problem has to be resolved. But what do? You want to take revenge. In other words, once we were at Rabbanic meeting, and they said that the lady went with the truck driver. Who made it? Why? And the psychologists were there, they were explaining to Rabbani, why is these things happening? In the community happens a lot of times. This thing. Why? With the plumber, with this, because they are taking revenge from the husband. It's not short of Taiwan desire. It's taking revenge. Now, the worse the person is the better revenge. They want to tell him, you are worse than this. You want to go with Schwartz. You want to go with somebody. To show that you are worse than that. That is not an act of Taiwan. It's an act of revenge. Now, Torah is telling us, revenge, taking revenge in the family is very dangerous. You destroy your home, you destroy your children. You have a problem, lady, what do? You go and solve the problem. Don't take revenge, because you start taking revenge, he gets back on you, she gets back, and it goes and goes and goes. And what happens? You destroy your home, you destroy your children, you destroy everything. Therefore, the lesson of Torah is, yes, Torah is that recognize there is a problem here. Good, I understand that. Now, first of all, the man, you have to educate yourself. Don't do it like that. Now, lady, you have a problem. There is something, what do? Search for solution. Don't take revenge. Taking revenge at home is the start of the nullification and destroying home and children. Because revenge starts with a little bit and goes further and further and further. And before you open your eyes, you see your wife and children, everybody got destroyed because of that. Therefore, Torah is saying such a tragic punishment to the lady because she deserves it. You don't take revenge, you don't destroy family, everybody. I told one case, there was a case of getting. I told her, see, this man is doing teshuvah, you have a few children. Why do you want to do that? She says, Mama, she says, I have to take my revenge from my husband. I don't care. I don't care for my children. I don't care for my future. He did so many things to me that I've taken. Now, who is taking revenge from? From herself. She's destroying herself. She's destroying her children. Now, this man is doing teshuvah. Let's go back. She didn't want to do that. Taking revenge. Taking revenge, Torah is telling us in this parsha, it's terrible. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is ready to invoke his name that to solve the problem, that it should not get there. What does Mechikat name means? Muchak name is bracing his name. Name is essence. For Shalom, a lot of times you have to brace yourself. If you're selfish and self-centered and you want yourself, it's not Shalom. What Baruch Hu says, you have to know from me. You want Shalom in life, a lot of times you have to erase. That's like me. I'm ready to erase my name for the sake of Shalom. Because once you erase yourself for Shalom, you are gaining something greater. It's not just erasing. You become a greater person. You magnify yourself. And that's how HaKadosh Baruch Hu is teaching us. And that taking revenge is terrible thing. Therefore, that's the highlight of Shalom Bayit, which Torah is telling us in this parasha with this Maaseh of Sot.